Hey y'all, it's your girl Joy back with another video, and in this video I will be talking about men wanting virgins but not wanting to wait for them. So I do want to put a disclaimer. I am normally pretty joyful and cheerful on this channel, but I am in kind of a rut right now. I'm dealing with two different situations and this topic doesn't help because this topic does upset me a lot. I know this video is gonna upset a lot of you, especially a certain group of you guys who watch my videos for obvious reasons, but I feel like this topic is really important to talk about, and I really want to speak my truth about this, and I just want to speak as a female perspective on this issue. So yeah, I do want to put a disclaimer out there that I am not speaking on behalf of all men. I understand that there are men who desire virgins, and I understand that there are men who don't want virgins. I understand that there are men who are virgins, and I understand that there are men who are not virgins, and men who are waiting, men who are not waiting, vice versa. I understand that women are hypocritical too in certain areas, but we are not going to be discussing that. We're going to be solely discussing this issue. I am speaking on behalf of a specific type of man, so I will be generalizing, so please don't be offended, because I'm definitely not saying this is every guy out there. Just know that. And also remember, my whole argument premise is that men and women should wait. Not just women, but men too. So don't take what I'm saying as if I am the pro-feminist standpoint of, oh, women should be sexually liberated like men. No, that's not my argument. My argument has always been for purity, for people to wait for marriage. The only thing is, I think men should wait too, and the Bible does say that too. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the apparent desire for virgin women among non-virgin men, or just men in general, in society, on the internet, in the manosphere, everywhere you can find a man. There's this desire, and I feel like there's this growing desire, and sometimes I like to attribute it to the older generations, because younger generations of men think differently. But I have a feeling that when the men in my generation get to that certain age, they're gonna think the same thing as the men before them. And so that is part of the reason why I'm doing this series, because I think it's important to talk about these issues. And also in this video, I'll be talking about the hypocrisy of men not waiting till marriage and not feeling like they should or have to, but expecting women to. The big question, is it bad to prefer a virgin? In my opinion, the short answer is no, it's not bad. Of course it's not bad to prefer a virgin. Obviously virgins, regardless of gender, offer a variety of benefits. They don't have kids out of wedlock. They typically are disease and emotionally baggage free. They don't have any experience, so they can't compare how well you perform to another person, and they can't compare how big you are to somebody else. And you also have the added benefit of being that person's first, and so that's that emotional connection and the love. Yeah, there's a lot of benefits to having a partner that's a virgin. No one's disputing that, and I'm definitely not disputing that. Like, I acknowledge that that is the fact, that's the case. However, what I am disputing, and what I want to bring attention to in this video, is the fact that non-virgin men plan, demand, and think they deserve virgin women as wives. And if you want the honest truth, the only man that deserves a virgin and the only woman that deserves a virgin is someone who waited till marriage themselves. And even then, who's to say you deserve a virgin? And why do you think you're entitled to such a thing? Like, no one is entitled to anything, really. Like, there's a small list. There's a small list of things that we're entitled to, and the only thing I can think of in the moment is your opinion. So yeah, I want to put attention to that. If you're not a virgin, you got no grounds to demand a virgin. And I know I'm gonna upset a lot of guys when I say that, but that's just the honest truth. Give me a list of reasons why honestly you think you deserve a virgin if you're not waiting till marriage, and if you're not waiting yourself, because I want to hear it. And you better give me better excuses than any of the excuses that exist out there already. Let me get this straight. Women are supposed to just wait till marriage, but men can sleep with all the women in the world until he finds the one that he wants to marry and settle down with. Excuse me? It ain't gonna work out that way, Mr. Non-Virgin. It's unfortunate that we live in a society that praises men for their body count, and it disowns and looks at women with such disgrace for having a body count of just even one. Now, times have changed, so this isn't always the case, but this mentality is still around, especially among men, and especially among older women as well. I just wish that we as a society would encourage men to wait till marriage like we encourage women to wait till marriage. For women, it's almost like a demand or command or something that you have to do, but for men, it's something optional. And I know men get looked down upon sometimes when they're virgins. I don't look down on men. I think it's such a wonderful thing. If I heard a guy was a virgin, I would give so much, I don't know, praise to that person, because I'm like, wow, it's hard to be a virgin, and you are, that's noteworthy. But my question to all of you out there who think this way about women, if women are supposed to wait till marriage and men don't think they have to, then who the hell are you sleeping with? Because one party has to give in eventually. Either it's the man that decides to wait with the woman, or the woman gives in to the man's desires. No man wants a slut. They won't marry the stripper or the porn star. But these same men will sleep with her, use her body, and strip her of her purity and value as a person. Men want a woman who is clean, pure, innocent, and free of any man's cum. Meanwhile, they've cummed in another man's future wife, without a care in the world, because they are a man and they have sexual desires that need to be pleased. But here's also the thing. Men don't want to stick around to wait till marriage for a virgin. They don't want to wait for a virgin. No, they will leave her and they will have sex with the women who are sexually active and then go back to the virgin when they're ready to get married. Men pressure women who are currently waiting till marriage to have sex with them. And I'm talking about in a relationship. Men don't want to marry a woman involved in the sex industry, the same industry that they derive their pleasure every week, every day from. Why? Because they see these women as used, as dirty. But they are dirty because they have been used by men like them. And I understand that these women make their own choices, but it takes a lot of balls to complain and disgrace the women that you derive pleasure from. It's almost like you can't win sometimes as a woman, because on the flip side, there's men that don't want to marry you because you're not a virgin, but on the other side, there's men that don't want to date you because you're a virgin and all the cons that comes with that, and because you're waiting till marriage. Men call the women who sexually please them sluts, and they call the women that don't please them sexually prudes. Men want a good girl to be bad for them. They want their girl to be a slut for them, and men want sex now and they don't want to wait too long for that. To me, it seems like the only men these days that wait till marriage are Christian men, and even then I've known a bunch of people who just say waiting isn't for me, and these are Christians that are taught to wait till marriage, men and women. There's also men that I've noticed on the internet who are not religious, or who are even religious, Muslims or Christians, Christian men, who use the Bible for their advantage, where they use it to tell women that they should wait and not be sexually active before marriage, but yet they're sexually active themselves, and they're neglecting that part of their religious doctrine, when I'm talking about the Bible, what God caused him to do. I'm going to talk a little bit about my background. I'm 20 years old, if you're new to my channel. I am a Christian. I even have a Bible verse behind me. I've been raised in a Christian household my whole life, and it was always the standard that I would wait till marriage. My family has always instilled it in me to wait till marriage because, like, that's what we should do as Christians. We should, oh my gosh, I'm gonna start crying. And so that's always been something important to me, and something that I was always gonna uphold is that virtue and to wait till marriage. And I think it's important. I think it's valuable in waiting for my future husband, and honoring God with my body. And I'm so passionate about this because I had an instance in my life that really made me question my morals as a young woman. When I was a sophomore, almost junior in high school, there was this guy who was my friend who I liked, and we went on a date, and he knew my stance on waiting till marriage because it's something that was brought up in a few conversations, and at the end of the date he said that I don't think our goals line or match up, and I knew what he was getting at, but I asked him, what do you mean? And he said, well, you want to wait till marriage, but I want to beat my brother. And that was the end of that. There's more to that story. The guy's there's nothing, like, it's cool and whatever, like, nothing bad happened. But after that happened, I went in this existential crisis because, you know, I have never kissed a guy at this point, and I was gonna be a junior in high school, and I never had a boyfriend. Like, before that, I only talked to one guy, and that was my first date. And I had this really strong crisis where I was like, man, this is just only the beginning of what college will look like. And so after that, I forgot to add this part. For, I want to say, a few weeks, I never heard back from this guy, and we were supposed to, like, plan another date, and it never happened. And so I had this crisis. Later on I found out it's because his phone was, like, broken, but it was a good thing his phone broke, because I had this crisis, and I started thinking to myself, it's like, I'm already dealing now in high school with the fact that I thought that he stopped talking to me because I wasn't gonna do anything like that with him. And it made me really upset because I was like, this is a precursor to the rest of high school and the precursor to college. And I was so sad in those several weeks because I was like, no guy is gonna want to date me, and I'm just gonna be single, and I'm never gonna have a boyfriend because, like, no guy wants to wait till marriage. And it's like, I don't want to break that moral. I'm sorry, I'm just really passionate about this topic. And so I was in that time where, like, I was super sad because it was just like a, you know, that's so Raven. It was just like a glimpse into the future where I was just like, this is only gonna get worse because everyone just is having sex, and, like, what guy is gonna want to date me when they can get sex anywhere else, when I'm gonna make someone wait? And it was really upsetting, and I asked myself, I was like, would I personally asked myself, I was like, would I neglect my morals for a guy? And honestly, this is all a conversation I was having with my 16-year-old self. And at first I was like, I really hesitated because I was like, at that time I was like, I don't want to be single, I don't want to be, like, sad and alone. And I was just like, man, I'm gonna be, like, single till I'm, like, 30 because of this. And I came to the conclusion, I was like, if sleeping with a guy doesn't keep him and waiting doesn't either, then I'm just gonna keep my morals, because at least I have my virginity, because in either situation I might not have the guy, and so I just stuck with it. And when I made that commitment to God, my current boyfriend of 3 years and 6 months, the love of my life, the man I plan on marrying, admitted that he liked me, and it was just crazy how it happened right after that. And it was almost like God blessing me for making that mental decision to continue to pursue that. And because of that instance I had with that one guy, I made sure that I told my current boyfriend at the beginning of our relationship what was up. I ran all the details. I was like, hey, I'm waiting till marriage. You cool with that? And we went from there. But if it wasn't for my boyfriend, I would probably be single now. I'm a sophomore in college, and I know that because although there are men out there who would want to wait, who's to say that those are the guys that would be right for me, or the guys that I would be interested in? And I know no guy would want to date me because I am not having sex with anybody. Men aren't thinking about marriage in college. Like, nobody really is thinking about marriage in college. A lot of people aren't. And I don't blame them, because we're all young and we have so much more to live and so many people to meet still. Why would they wait for me when they can sleep with someone else? And I understand men don't want to commit when they're young. Sometimes I don't think women do either. And I understand that part of the problem is that feminism has sexually liberated women, so it's made access to women, the sex with women for men, easier than it was in the past. And I understand that's a part of it, which also makes men less likely to commit to marriage. So I've honestly just came to the conclusion that, like I said, sleeping with a guy doesn't keep him, and sometimes waiting until marriage doesn't keep a guy. So I just don't have sex, because you can't win as a woman. At least if you're a virgin, men can't factually call you a slut because you aren't. And I know a lot of the excuses, some men will be like, well, as for men shouldn't wait, some men will be like, well, women don't want virgins, and women want men who are experienced so they can be pleased. Although that's true for some women, that's not true for a lot of women. And I really wish that more women would be on the bandwagon with me on this. But excuse me, anybody who is sane knows that a virgin is inexperienced, and there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody has to learn at some point. Nobody starts off with all the knowledge in the world about anything, and that includes sex. And so I would not make fun of or expect a man who is not experienced. And I know a lot of women aren't like that, but there's women out there who are like me who would not do that, because why would I expect someone who doesn't have experience to have experience? You know, it doesn't make sense. And I definitely don't like when women make fun of men who are virgins, because I admire people, men especially, who wait till marriage, because it's not easy. It's difficult, especially in our culture that's so, like, sex everything. And my biggest question is, why can't men and women grow together when it comes to sex? Just between two people in a relationship, and I mean in a marriage. Why do we feel like we need to gain experience from multiple people? I always hear the arguments, you gotta test drive the car before you buy it, or you gotta see if you're sexually compatible. Well, at the end of the day, if you plan on marrying somebody, those things aren't going to matter in the long run. You have to you have to love who you marry. I think purity culture is really important. I think that there is so much value when a man and a woman save sex for each other. It's so valuable that they get to experience and grow together, adjust themselves when it comes to that aspect. Because sex is something intimate, and our culture likes to take it as something that is like, oh, hookup culture. It's nothing valuable or whatever. Just sleep with all the people you want. And when you wait till marriage, whether you're a man or woman, you don't have to compare partners. And your partner knows that you're not comparing, and you know your partner is not comparing because you waited for each other. There's less jealousy and there's less insecurity on not only the man's side, but also the woman's side of things. Why should a woman wait for you when you don't wait for her? Wouldn't you guys think that a woman would like a man who waited for her as well? Wouldn't you think that she would like you to be her only sexual partner? Wouldn't you think that a woman would feel more secure in her relationship when she knows that she's your first, and when she knows that she's the only one that pleased you, and when she knows that you were a virgin when you met her? Personally, I want to be my future husband's first and only sexual partner. One reason, because I'm waiting till marriage, but also it would be nice to have that experience and only share it with one person and know that I am that person's first also. But I also have to say this. Even though I think there's a lot of value and importance into waiting till marriage and virginity, when someone is not a virgin, whether you're a guy or you're a girl, you're not worthless. And I don't like this whole talk about just degrading people based off their body count and making people seem like they're worthless, because people are more than the amount of people that they slept with. People make mistakes, and we can all change, and just because we made a mistake doesn't mean that it should define us, and we shouldn't let people's mistakes define them either. And we all have our own sins, and I really dislike how so many people, especially men on the internet, act so holy and put down women who aren't waiting till marriage as if they're sinners. Well, technically they are if you read the Bible, but they forget to look at themselves in the mirror and realize that they're a sinner too, and that they're sleeping around, and that they're committing the same sin as these women that they complain about, and that these men are also committing sins in other areas of their life. And it's like in the Bible it says, take the speck out of your own eye before you take it out of your brother's eye. It's like, how are you going to be on this high horse judging all these people that you don't even know, when you have your own sins and your own things that you have to deal with? Even though virgins are a good preference, I don't see myself, and I don't see other virgins as better than non-virgin people because of that. It's just a different lifestyle. Although I wish everyone would adopt that lifestyle, it's not realistic to think that people would. It's the ideal to remain pure until marriage, but it is wrong to devalue people based on their lack of virginity. You know, when I think of this topic, what I think of doing is honestly writing a petition and being like, women, we should riot, you know, all the women on this bandwagon of purity, and say, hey, we're all gonna wait till marriage. That would be way better for society. But you know who'd be mad at that? Men. The same people that want women to wait till marriage are the same people that would get mad at us, women, for waiting till marriage because we're not giving in to their sexual desires. And they would probably rape some women because of it. Yeah, so born-again virgins, men will be mad because women aren't satisfying them because they have sexual desires. Another thing I've seen is sexual compatibility is a problem, like I said earlier. I get it that this is a concern for people, but if you're marrying somebody, it shouldn't be based on sex. It should be based on why you like that person and why you want to make a lifelong commitment to that person. Because when you're old and crusty, you can't have sex anymore, and you need Viagra to stay hard, you gotta love the person who you're married to. You can't just be sexually attracted to somebody. You have to love who they are, and you have to be there through thick and thin. And so I think sexual compatibility test for who you should marry is not the best way to go. You have to fall in love with that person, not just fall in love with their love through sex making. I want to point out another thing that I've mentioned in another video is that because men don't want to wait till marriage, and women like myself know this, a lot of women have that pressure and feel that pressure, and actually get that pressure from the men they're dating to give in. And a lot of men lie and say, oh, like, we'll get married, it doesn't matter anyway, or virginity doesn't matter, or whatever. All the excuses in the book to try and get women to sleep with them. Meanwhile, they know that they're not going to plan on marrying this woman and whatever, and they plan on marrying a virgin. So they devalue the woman that they're with, which is another man's future wife, and they plan on marrying some virgin woman, which is other crap to me. And women feel this pressure and give in because they feel like men will cheat, because the men need their desires satisfied, and if they can't satisfy them, he will find someone else to satisfy them. So, and a lot of women believe the lie that they think that men will love them more and desire them more if they sleep with them, which is utter crap. And if you're a woman listening, don't believe that lie. Please don't sleep with whoever you're with. Save yourself. That women think that the man will be more attached to her, and in reality, it's the complete opposite. And a lot of women, like me, worry about being alone because they wait. That's a very big concern. To conclude this, men, I urge you to treat your body count like you treat a woman's body count. You don't get to have fun and be with women and expect a woman to just wait for you. Stop being hypocritical. It's hard to wait till marriage. I know this, but it's not impossible. I've been in a 3.5-year relationship. Waiting till marriage will solve a lot of your problems. I think women should give men what they want. Let all the women wait till marriage, and then you have plenty of virgins to pick from. But no, men will be mad at us because we aren't pleasing them sexually. Have your pick, because you can only pick one, because you can't pick both. So that's what I want to end on. I'm saying this from a virgin perspective, and so if I ever had a man tell me something like that, I would be like, well, okay, boy. Personally, I can't even speak on this issue. Anyways, you're my regular subscriber. Thank you for watching. I love you. Check out more videos. I make commentary videos on this channel, and if you want me to talk about something, comment down below. I'll look into it. So, bye guys. I love you.